straight, yeah. What are you gonna shoot?
You know.
I just want to keep it organic.
Put some of this shit on Instagram, baby. Get right.
What's going on? North Cali, Sacramento Bay Valley. I'm talking about we is in here, man, Sacramento. You feel me? We is in here, Sacramento, with a man who done laid down decades of a foundation in Sacramento. You feel what I'm saying? We talking about a Sacramento dude, man. He been doing this, man, so that's why we rocking. Cause right now we is in here, y'all, Sacramento, with no other than Bueno. What's going on with you, big bro?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? It's good to have you, for real, for real.
Man,
Thank you for your time, man.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, for real, for real.
For sure.
In a minute. Boy, talking about let's get on the boat, man, on that water, man. You ready, man? Let's do it, man. Bueno. Ay, lo mama.
Stereotype.
Hey, check this out.
I got my faded to the side, roll up in my ride, about to find a chick, about to touch till 6 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
Hey, ma, you wanna ride with a fly gangster? Get cake with a real life pie baker. Hey, big money that's small to a skyscraper. Hey, these the aviator shades, yeah, they Mark Jacob. Yeah, you got it. Okay, I'm on your swag. You know your diamond studded hoops, Coach bag. You got the charms on your Tiffany bracelet. I'm trying to find a bad little chick to vacate with. I'm trying to find a little chick to get cake with. That's me flying by in a spaceship. We hit Melrose, Saks Fifth, back to Sac. 2760 beams back to back. Top floor, VIP buying drinks. We got the suites, Sheraton on J Street. Chicks in the living room getting it on, and they ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. Yeah.
Roll up in my ride, about to find a chick, about to touch till 6 in the morning, 6 in the morning. Just bought the bar, now I'm in the car, got me a chick, to touch till 6 in the morning, 6 in the morning.
Chain Wayne, that's how I go though.
Yes, sir, man. So we gonna get into it, Big Bueno. Where are you from in Sacramento? Where was you born?
Shit, I was born in South Sacramento.
Okay, South Sacramento. That's right.
Yeah, Kaiser Hospital, man. And
Okay.
Went straight to the View.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you was
Straight to
born in Meadowview.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meadowview, South Sacramento, South area, South Sac, Iraq. You know.
Okay, damn. Okay. So growing up as a kid, kind of like, you know, in your elementary years, kind of like, let us know about Bueno. What was you doing during them times?
I was a terror, man. Like as a little kid, man, I had an older brother and older sister. I was the youngest. I'm the youngest of 3. So you know, I was advanced academically, athletically, you know, and then, you know, I was tough, you know, cause you know you got to deal with big bro and big sis at the time. She was the illest, you know what I mean? So, you know, when you're young, when you're 7 and 8 years old, you know, your big sister can always whoop on you, you know what I mean? So,
For real.
having her,
That's
shouts
dope.
out to sis, and having big bro. I was definitely advanced athletically, academically, and then I would just all, you know, let me tell it, you know, I seen it from my perspective, but people would tell you, man, I'm gifted, you know, talented. It's like the best in sports and
So in the elementary years, you already kind of a little established athlete,
Yeah.
and what was you doing?
First we started off playing Little League at airport. So I started off playing Little
Like
League.
what
at
sports
Airport.
was you playing?
Baseball.
You was
Little
playing
League
baseball.
yeah.
So in the in elementary years you was a
I'm talking
baseball
about
player.
6 years old, 7 years old.
You a baseball player.
Right. I'm the
Okay.
best one, right?
Okay.
Because you can't play, again, you can't play basketball back then until 4th grade. So
Okay.
you got to have other stuff to play. So after baseball, we played football. 10
Okay.
years old, South Sac Vikings.
Okay.
I'm running touchdowns. I'm on the team with legendary dudes. And
So,
back,
so what years are these?
these is 85 and 86.
85, okay.
87s.
Oh,
you know
dope,
what I mean?
okay.
The mid 80s, the late 80s, you know what I mean? The 80s era, the crack era.
Okay, so yeah, so you playing ball in the mid '80s.
I'm in elementary
school.
I'm in elementary
And
school.
kind of like, how was it in Meadowview during them times? How was the area?
Man, it was like I said, it was that crack era. Like
Okay.
I seen it come. I seen it, I seen it as a kindergartner, and then I seen it as a 6th grader.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And from kindergarten to 6th grade, it was just full blown. It went from dudes selling a little bit of weed or something. You know what I mean? We'll see them and not want, peek over at them at the park. You know what I mean? Not want to look at them too hard. And then by 4th and 5th grade, 6th grade, them dudes was in Suzuki Samurais, you feel me, and Toyota trucks with Yo on the back.
And this is you as a kid, right, trying to play, and you're focused on
Everybody
your sports.
had pagers. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
focused on sports,
As a kid,
but at the same time, I'm focused on.
But you see
I'm
the-
focused on the money
Yeah,
too.
you see what's
I'm focused
going
on the things around.
Okay.
And it's these same dudes. Now, mind you, these same dudes are dudes that grew up in my neighborhood. It may be blah blah blah's big brother or so and so's big sister or something. It's still connected to us.
Mhm.
So you seeing people like getting it, and you like, wow, they was just, I was just staying the night at their house.
For
you
real.
know what I mean? With their little brother. So
Okay.
that type of shit.
I see it. That's dope. Okay, so you're growing up, you're in the neighborhood of Meadowview, and then you're playing ball. So now we start getting into your junior high school years.
Right.
What's going on? You still continue to play ball? Like what's going on? Let the people know.
Yeah, I was advanced, so I started advancing more. So I got took to like going into the 7th grade. I got took it to the put on all-star teams. So they would take me to like Palo Alto, to Las Vegas, to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? So I started to be on travel teams, AAU teams. And this was, again, real early when AAU teams was still, it was just one team in Sacramento. You know what I mean? Right now it's about 200, 300 AAU teams in Sacramento. But back then it was one team. It was the best 12 dudes all
Okay.
over Sacramento.
Okay.
That was 13 years old, 12 years old, and shit like that, and put us on a team. So I just kept advancing. I'm traveling, and now I'm advancing in basketball. Still doing my thing in baseball, and then I play football for the Vikings still. So
Okay.
I was playing 3 sports.
During any of these times, like, was like anything kind of like tapping in with the music at all during these times, or you was just a straight athlete? Like,
Nah,
you wasn't.
you gotta understand, like, from the culture I was brought up in, it's multicultural. So it's sports, it's fashion, it's music, it's entertainment, it's cars. You know what I mean? It's marijuana, right?
So during them ages, them times, you was tapping in with the music.
Always. 'Cause
What was you doing?
I seen the growth in the 80s. That's when, at the same time when I was growing up, it was the same time hip hop was growing up. You
Okay,
feel me?
yep.
And it was turning into something that had never been before, and that was right before our eyes. We was all captivated by it. Like, the culture is all of us. You feel me? It's
Yeah.
the people involved in this shit that dress like this, that talk like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So being able to wear sports hats and teams with sports hats, that wasn't always, like just as normal as it is now.
Mhm.
Everybody didn't have Jordans back then. All of that shit created the culture and hip hop. So yeah, it was all intertwined, you know what I mean? And always been a fan of music the whole time. Never thought I would get in it though.
So during them times where you were just more like
I was an athlete and I love the music.
okay, you just
We
love the
listened
music,
to it on the buses.
game, just the whole
we
game.
listened to
Yeah.
it before the games. I knew all the words, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
I used to switch up. I always knew though, because I used to like, again, in school, academically, I was real advanced. So as a kid, so I used to be like in the oratorical contests and, the spelling bees. And so I knew I could put words together, all the teachers would tell me principles, you know what I mean? Superintendents, I'm going to city battling little Asian girls. You feel me? It'd be like a little Asian girl and a little Mexican boy.
Damn.
And they have murdered me, you feel me? But I done went to round 12, you know what I mean? And but I always knew I could put words together. I used to listen to the music and I'll switch up some words and put my words in there, you feel
Oh,
me?
that's dope.
Fucking around, but thinking, nigga, I could do this shit, you know what I mean? That's how every nigga probably start off. But I was a young nigga, never thought I'd get into music though.
That's crazy. So man, so Bueno's coming up, man, pretty much in the game, through the neighborhood, playing ball, standing out as an athlete. Now you're getting ready to go into high school years. What's going on in high school, and what years are these right here?
After that, you know, I was going into high school. I was honestly, I was having to decide which sport I was gonna play.
Okay. Can you let the people know what year this is?
This is 91.
Okay.
I'm going into high school in the 90s. Now we done went from the 80s to the 90s. Everybody know the 80s was getting a whole lot of money. In the 90s, it was pretty much, it was a lot of violence over the money that was made in the 80s. A lot of territorial shit going on. And I was still just trying to stay focused, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was getting kind of pulled in different directions because I was getting better, getting older, kept advancing, kept getting put on different teams, traveling, having to be different places. So it was like I had to pick from one sport, but I ended up stopping playing baseball out of all the sports, and I focused on football and basketball.
Okay.
That's what I started doing.
So what started going on with that? Where the basketball and everything started taking you from there? How was it that your freshman year and all that?
The basketball was cool. My freshman year, I played JV. I played freshman football. Excuse me. I played JV basketball. We was like second place in football in league, and we was first place in basketball. You know, Kennedy basketball was like superior. Football used to be superior, but it fell off. So we was like 20-3, 19-3, 20-2, something like that. My freshman year in JV, and we were in league. I want to say we was either 13-1 or 14, because we was 13-1 or 14-0, because in my 4 years in league we was like 47-2 or 48-2 or something like that out of 50 games. We only lost 2 games in conference. That's how dominant we was. We was crazy. But I got MVP my freshman year on JV.
Oh, dope.
Right. So I was super juiced. The next year, sophomore year, it was like you starting point guard on varsity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then I played JV football.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was out there smashing.
That's dope. Go ahead and break down them years, man. How did all of that pan out? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and let the people know, you know, that whole little high school career.
Yeah. So after we started, you know, we was number 1 in the city, top in the state, like number 3 in the state, you know. I played with Yogi Stewart, ended up making it to the pros, playing like 8 years in the NBA.
Yeah, Big Yogi, I played Nike League with him.
Right. Along with like Chris Griffin, you know, standout 6'7" dude, Mike Covington, LaVega Sims, Billy Denny, Phil Dillingham, all these dudes, Joe Stevenshaw. We was all like stars that came from different areas to be on one team. So it was like a super team. And we was like, you know, kind of smashing.
Yeah,
and
that was a roster for real.
Yeah. So now I did real good my sophomore year, real good my junior year, had about 30 colleges, and then going into my senior year in the summer, one of my, I don't know how to explain it, one of like our closest family friends died in a car accident. It was like it tore the family up, it tore the city up. Yeah, rest in peace, Sean Weir. You know, Sean was like a super legend out here, on his way to USC or wherever he wanted to go. I got a cold story about Sean. So anybody know Sean Weir, he was a football star, right? 6'2", about 200 pounds, 40-inch vertical leap, could run about a 4.5 40. He was like a safety, a pro safety in high school. So he go to city because a lot of dudes in Sacramento ain't got the grades or whatever. So he go to city. His freshman year, he defensive player of the year in the state. His freshman year. City like 12-1. City known for sending dudes to college in football and baseball. And basketball, but football and baseball, they ain't never stopped. They've been doing it for like 50, 60 years, you feel me? And he passed away. I end up, I'm 16, 17 carrying a casket in front of the whole city. It's like 2,000, 3,000 people there, you know what I mean? College coaches come. It's crazy, you feel me? Like it was a cold situation. And again, when you think about it, situations like that, boy, like change the course of history. You know what I mean? Like literally, it's like a lot of people that was affected by that. You feel me? In a lot of different crazy ways. But going into my senior year, I wasn't even there. I didn't go to school one day. Now I'm a top recruit. I'm the #1 point guard in Northern California. I'm smoking every day. And what I didn't know is nigga was smoking away the pain. You feel me? I'm 16, 17 years old. You don't understand the trauma, you know what I mean, that's attached to stuff like that. You feel me? And then we don't have like somebody pulling us to the side. My nephew's partners just passed away, got killed. First thing I do is go pull up on him, take him to go eat, chop it up with him. How you feeling, Neph? You feel me? You all right? You feel me? Like you can talk to me. We ain't always got that. And that's part of the trauma, right? So me not knowing, being a tough little 16-year-old from Meadowview, 17-year-old, I'm #1 in Northern California, point guard. I'm thinking I can handle everything, so I go play football. I'm killing everything, beginning of the school year, but I really ain't going to school. And I'm still passing. Until one grade just slipped me up. I mess up. They offer me a situation to get my grade cool, and I don't even show up. I'm just like, again, thinking that the world is against me because I just lost one of the closest things to me in life, and I don't know why, you know what I mean? So, that end up throwing shit off. I don't play my senior year. I come back at the end of the year. I go to, I end up getting, like all my offers, everybody left. I end up going to a junior college in Salinas. That was the next chapter. College was the next chapter.
Okay. What happens going into college? Now, any of these times you still not even kind of like thinking about the music or nothing like that?
Nah. Not
What
even
year
thinking.
is this now that you graduate and getting ready to go to college?
This is 95, 96.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure it out, right? And I go to Salinas, go to Hartnell Junior College. Same thing. It's like superstar team, dudes from everywhere. We like #1 in Northern California, and I'm looking like, I don't think I want to do this. Excuse me. I'm like, it's too many niggas. I feel like I just came from that. You feel me? Because I had my own little hang-ups playing with too many superstars. You know what I mean? I had like 30 offers, but I felt like I could have been like, man, I could have been much more without having to share as much, right?
Now, so you saying you ready to stop playing college ball, you said? Or?
Nah, I just was like, man, I'm a transfer.
Okay.
So I came back to Sacramento. I'm at the house, and Tony Vine, shouts out to Tony Vine, legendary Sacramento basketball player and business owner, and man, he reached out to me. He's like, Wayne, man, or Russ, I told you to come here with me in the first place, and he was at Casonas. He's like, man, I told you to come play with me in the first place, man, and blah, 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 blah. And he from my neighborhood. He an older dude. He did a lot of shit the right way, so I just listened to him. enrolled in Casumas, played there, and went crazy.
Turnover. Here comes Josh Seaver, passes to Osby.
Oh, sweet. Put it in.
That was nice.
Right from the highlight field.
That's his 16th point.
And the fans here at Casumas. Audience hype.
Vince. Okay.
Now in the game for the Panthers.
The Panthers have sure come back. It's now 43-44 with 3 minutes left in the first half. Osby's field goal tonight is shooting 6 and 8. LT Dawson. Josh Steamer. That's Osby.
Wide open three.
Oh! But Osby has to be down.
And all these colleges offers came back, and then I played one more year there, went crazier. And yeah, no, I basically left the 2 year, and I was trying to pick out what schools I was gonna go to. I went to a camp. I went crazy at the camp. 2 major Division II colleges offered me scholarship. One was Fort Hays State in Kansas, and the other one was Cal State Los Angeles in downtown LA. And I was sitting there thinking, I was like, you know what I mean, where am I gonna go? They both was amazing, full scholarships, and it was the place for me, it was the time for me, it was the final run in my college career. It's gonna be my junior and senior year. And I was like, okay, outside of basketball, what can I do in Kansas? Like nothing, right? Say outside of basketball, what can I do in LA? Boy, I'd be at all the Lakers games, and I'd be on Venice Beach. So I picked LA, you know what I mean? And the coach was super juiced. I like Coach Yanai. I miss Coach Yanai, man. He was a legendary coach from LA. He was happy. I went to LA, started off the year great. Was leading the team, point guard, setting everything up, captain, all kind of shit. It was like the dream. It was perfect.
And what year is this?
This is 99.
99, okay.
Yeah, this is 99. It's gonna be 99 would have been my junior year. 99, 2000 would have been my junior year. 2000, 2001 would have been my senior year, and I would have been finished. But like I said, I'm having the time of my life in LA, and great dudes around me, a bunch of Southern California dudes. We had a raw team, great bond, and I went up to dunk and I tore my iliopsoas muscles, like my stomach muscle.
Oh wow!
So like I was kind of through. I was in a wheelchair for like a week.
Okay.
I thought I broke my pelvis. I didn't know what it was. It felt like my pelvis broke. You feel me? Something in my hips or something. So I felt it pop. Thought it was a bone, but it was like I said, it was a muscle. As I went out, I kind of knew that, you know, I'm done. You know, it had been a long run. It was like my 6th year in college. I was like, I'm done, bro. In the process, I had a son. You know,
okay.
The year before, in '98.
Okay.
And I was just like, man, you know, let me go back to SAC and figure it out. But I still had my scholarship. I was still going to school. I was traveling with the team. You know what I mean? I was rocking with the team. But I started to cultivate music. Like while everybody else was at full-blown practice, because I had to do therapy every day, and then they would go do practice. They had like an extra hour and a half. I go back to the apartment, like our dorms are set up like apartments, and I would write music, and I was starting that because I was in Southern California. I started to get a database of all the record companies, and I started to go to them.
This is what, 2000?
This is 99.
Still 99.
All 99. at the end of the year because I hurt myself at the beginning of the season, so I never got to really play. So that whole year, I'm on scholarship and I got like a free year basically. So I'm going to school, but I'm doing all the music shit because I'm like I gotta have this plan B. I gotta have a plan B. If I'm gonna go back to SAC, I'm gonna do a little something that makes sense. Prior to that, I used to my little cousin, and I don't call him my little cousin no more, but Goldfingers.
Okay.
I grew up with a super producer, Sacramento, done stuff with everybody in the industry, engineers, and he's an artist as well. But he basically, his brother and my brother was real close. Okay. So as they started to get into stuff, his mom asked me to, kind of, look out for him. So he was a whiz kid young, and we were doing music, and I would freestyle to his beats, and you know what I mean, and just fuck around and stuff like that. So I would do that maybe from about 95, 96, year out of high school, to 99.
Just out there, just kind of messing around with Goldfinger's beats and stuff.
Right, but he was 16, 15, 16. I'm 18, 19. I'm going back and forth to different colleges, so I would only see him certain times when I came back. Mm-hmm. And then again, he more like my little cousin than part of my crew that I run with.
Okay.
So I spent time with the crew doing what we do, and then, but this is a little cousin. I always had to pull up on him, and I would. And this is before he had whip. You know what I mean? He a youngster, but he want to smoke a little weed. I'm like, come on, smoke this. Play some of them beats, right? So it turned into that.
Okay.
And then, like I said, so fast forward, just to hop around a little bit, which I know we ain't trying to do.
Oh, you still in 99 though?
When I'm in 99, I kind of carried what I had been doing with Goldfingers over to part of my transition plan.
Okay.
As I was hurt and trying to plot in LA.
Yeah, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
I went out there in 99, so we just missed each other.
Right,
I went out there October of 99.
Right. And crazy thing about 99, so when I come home, I got one more trip when I'm coming home, and then I got to go back to school. And I basically cultivate a situation with George Foreman Jr.
Oh yeah, he went to Kennedy too, right?
Yeah, he went to Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yogi Stewart and my boy Joe Steffenshaw. Joe Steffenshaw helped me basically broker a deal with our two partners, Yogi and George, get a couple dollars so I can record an album in 1 week. It's like 1 or 2 weeks. Ended up being Skeleton Key.
Okay.
I had Goldie, a bunch of music that we pre-produced. I had a bunch of music that we pre-produced. I kind of, I recorded it. Okay. I basically just took a bunch of the stuff that we had demoed, did it the right way, recorded it. We put it on 2-inch reel. We didn't know no better. They were charging us like.
That's that analog sound though. That's a good sound.
One of the best sounds you can get.
For real.
And the shit that Michael Jackson Thriller is recorded on. Yeah. Shit like that, right?
Real shit.
Right. Big ass reels. And that shit is so expensive. Like, it was like, no lie, man, the sessions was like $2,000 a session. We was retarded. We didn't know no better. We like, that's how Michael Jackson did it. That's how music's recorded, right? And they're like, nah, rap niggas just be in the closet
Nah.
with a sock over their shit. You feel me?
Nah, they had the ADATs and shit.
Yeah.
ADAT.
They had ADATs back then because that was way before the socks. I was just fast forward playing with niggas. But you know, niggas be having socks
Yeah,
over
cats
their
be
bikes
doing
and
that
all
type
kind
of
of
shit.
shit.
You right though.
Yeah. But nah, they was like, nah, niggas don't do that. Niggas go and get them ADATs, and then they go in the studios where they is makeshift. You feel me? It's nigga get some egg cartons on the wall and call it a studio. You feel me? Get a mic. You feel me? Have your cousin at the control panel, and now this motherfucker studio. Nah, man, them chords is cracking. You feel me? It's static through. It's a whole lot of feedback going through 7 different lines. That's making 3 or 4 real heavy extra instruments in your shit. You feel me? Just too much going on. So we didn't know that niggas was actually doing shit like that, but that's part of the game for me. Back then, I needed to know that this shit was gutter too. It wasn't Michael Jackson Thriller. It wasn't Quincy Jones. Like, I needed to know there was street niggas involved. I need to know that the white boys involved, they sharp. So, a lot of this shit, man, I learned on the job. You know what I mean? So I ended up doing that Skeleton Key project, 2-inch reels. Shit was
Who did
bananas.
some of the production on that?
Goldfingers did everything.
Okay.
He did everything. Mark Knox came in again. I don't know if y'all familiar with super producer Mark Knox.
Oh yeah.
He basically Knox. How can I put it? I knew Goldfinger since he was about 2 or 3, right? So it's like niggas' whole lives. And then I knew Knox about the same time, and he was like 2. He's a little younger than Goldfinger, so it was kind of like the little protocol, you know what I mean? I had to look out for Goldie, and Goldie looked out for Knox, you know what I mean? So Knox didn't know exactly what he wanted to do, or he would have did more production on Skeleton Key. But he was getting his fingers wet and doing a lot of extra like sounds and things, and he pretty much had co-production.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff.
It's dope. 2 big producers out of Sac right there, and they're young.
And this at their
beginning
youngest,
eras,
at their
yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't talk about it, you know what I mean? Them niggas ain't rah-rah type, so they don't talk about it, and they don't do a lot of interviews and shit like that. So,
So that's dope. So what's going on, man? Finally, so what's the name of the? You said the Skeleton Key. What was your artist name?
Yeah, it was Russell Osby.
Okay,
it was my
it was
real
Russell
name.
Osby.
Yeah.
So okay, so Russell Osby, man. After all this long career, man, of being a hoop star, man, going through the whole journey, doing your thing, man, working with these up and coming producers, man. Now you got your first project out, man. Like, what's going on? How you feel? Like, like take us through that, man. What's going on with that project? What you doing with the project? You out there? You getting distribution? You doing shows? Like, you living this rap life now? Like, got your first project. What's going on with it?
What happened is I went back to college.
Okay.
'Cause I was still in school hooping.
Okay.
Right, but I'm not. I'm injured. But I'm part of the team, so I gotta be at practices. I gotta be at tutoring sessions. I gotta be at all
So
the
you got
luncheons.
your project out and you back in LA.
Back in LA with my project,
Okay.
thinking I could do something with it and let some people hear it. But the only thing is that like I couldn't let my coaches hear it. I couldn't let it get to the school, right? So it was like, So what I ended up doing was I waited till it was like a couple months, spring, and I'm like a month left. I started performing on campus.
Okay.
Some of the songs and
Okay.
promoting it, right? Because they had like different talent shows and different showcases and stuff like that. And the whole school was basically like, he the best kept secret. Shh, don't say nothing, because Russ, who's the basketball player, we all know we ain't supposed to kind of say nothing, because they was so supportive. You know how a student body is, right? They support me. Shh, it's a secret. Woo, woo, woo. But they like, he need to perform at the talent show. I performed at the talent show. I had Goldie come from Sac, right? He with me, right? We rock. We got tape for this shit somewhere. And somebody got tape. But yeah, it's funny because we do that shit. We think we doing something. And that was the start of That was the start of something crazy.
Well, that's dope.
Like, for real.
So what's going on? So you out there with the project? Let us know what's going on with all this.
So we was out there with the project, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know what to do with it. So it just did its small little whatever. I shot 2 videos.
Okay.
Shot a video at the school, and then I shot a video on Venice Beach. You know what I mean? I went all through LA and shot parts of it, right? And I'm just trying to figure it out. At this time, ain't no internet, ain't no, like, everything hand to hand. So if you couldn't, like, one thing with the internet now, like, I could post something and literally my immediate database of about 60 to 100,000 people, 50 to 100,000 people are aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it was like, nigga, it take you 8 months to get everybody to know what was going on. You know what I mean? That's why you would promote for 3 months before the project even dropped. Then the project drops. Then you promote for another 3 months. You feel me? During as the project drops, and then as it's done, you promote the last 3 months. So it'd be like a 9-month rollout. You feel what I'm saying? Just to get your whole 50 to 100 to be able to have exposed it to them.
For real.
You know what I mean? So my shit ain't do nothing out there. It was too big. I was overwhelmed, and I went back to SAC. And my scholarship was up, all at the same time.
So now you done got yourself established now and wanting to do music.
Right.
Now you kind of feel like, okay, that's what you're starting to feel while you got this project. That's what you want to do. You want to start doing music.
Yeah, I'm about to do this music.
Okay.
Started getting with the team, Mike Bo. At that time, we had about 30 people on the squad. Everybody not knowing what to do. You know what I mean? But people was like, we got an idea. We're gonna do something. I just started to do a lot of homework. I had every magazine. You come in my crib at the time, I had the little spot in Green Haven. I have a Source, a XXL, and a Vibe magazine. I have a motherfucking and a Slam magazine. I got all that too, cause it's all hip hop culture. On one TV I got BET, the other TV I got MTV. You feel me? So it's a situation where it's like I just started doing homework, became a student of the game, just like I did. I just took everything from sports that made me good in sports, and I put it into the music.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's dope.
Yeah.
So now you know what you want. Okay, so what's going on now? This album, you getting ready? You start talking to these people that you're organizing with about what? Working on another project, or?
Yeah, what it was is the guys that I was talking to was my close friends.
Okay.
And they already knew what we was. They said, okay, we know what you're trying to do. So when I was in LA, I had a line on one of my songs where I said, it's all bueno. I'm Russell Oz Bueno. And they would call me Bueno out there.
Okay.
So I said, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create something so marketable that can sell. Mm-hmm. I'm like, it ain't gonna be me. Like, of course it's me, but we gonna create something that's marketable. I don't walk around and market I ain't never sold myself. Yeah. But I said, how am I gonna sell myself? So I had to start thinking. Yeah, start thinking. That's why that's why Sean Carter used Jay-Z, because Sean Carter is the person. Jay-Z is the artist. It's the person. It's the person that he sold. Now, but my music is it's a whole different vibe. Like I ain't hella personal with my music. You know what I mean? So.
Okay.
But that's a little bit of that. But yeah, so I'm in LA and come back to SAC, and I'm like, okay, they calling me Bueno. First thing we gotta do is come up with a name. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. I said, let's come up with a plan. The guys around me was like, let's rock and roll.
So what y'all start doing now, you got your name, now you Bueno now, out of Sac, you know, so what y'all start putting together, a project, or y'all just kind of still like?
I'm recording with, now I knew I had to produce it.
Okay.
So I'm like, shit, I got a nigga that make 10 beats a day.
Who is this producer?
Goldfingers.
Okay, Goldfingers.
So I'm sitting there like, shit, that's one thing in the whole hood looking for beats. I got a nigga with me that make 15 beats a day, and I knew they was blazing. But some people was like, you know, y'all just young. You know what I mean? And now look at Goldfingers. It's the same beats that niggas is spending money for, right? And Mark Knox was getting super on the beats too. So it got to the point where now I got both of them beats. Okay. So I just was like, let me create some shit that's, because Skeleton Key was lukewarm, and it wasn't quite the mix that I wanted. I kind of knew what I wanted on this. I said, it's the Bueno now. It's not Russell Osby. I can cuss. I can say what I want. There ain't no coaches no more. I'm freer, and I've learned more. So I just started to record music. My close partner, my ace spoon coon, Cream 100, there the whole time. He just watching. And this my ace, but he ain't involved. He's just like, whatever y'all need, yeah, when you need me, yeah, but ain't a whole lot of energy from him behind the shit. He wasn't on no hater shit. That's just his personality. He just was chilling. So, and at the time we didn't need nothing from him, you know what I mean? But after Skeleton Key kind of didn't do what it did, he was like, nigga, you want to do this shit? Let's kill these niggas. So we just start to make music, and we start to look for people who can invest in the music, and not too far, you know what I mean? We just, because we didn't even know the procedure, but we knew we needed an investor, and we had an idea. A close friend of ours. We just had to figure out how to do it. So I would make this music, make a bunch of demos. I give them out to everybody, tapes. So all my niggas would beat, all my niggas who was somebody, I had a tape. Take this. And it wasn't the same music. That's the thing about the tapes. It wasn't a copy. It would be seven songs that Goldie made that day. And 7 beats, me rapping over his beats, 7 more the next day, and me put them together. And then the next day, put them together. Next day, put them together. And there would be tapes full of hundreds of songs. And every once in a while, you would get a repeat song on a tape or 2 or something like that. But it was like, no 2 tapes was the same. And this was dub era, right? Where we dubbing and shit like that. It wasn't even CDs hardly. So we did a bunch of that. And I ended up having a big show at Consumness. I knew the people from when I went there. It was Keak the Sneak. He was the biggest thing. This was 2001. So we went a year making them tapes after I came home, and then I landed a big show. And it was me, the Ghetto Stars, and Keak the Sneak. The Ghetto Stars never put nothing out before, and they was brand new. Rest in peace, Freako. Shout out Dub 20, Scoob Nitty. I was brand new, but I had from them tapes, I learned a lot from Skeleton Key. Boy, I started, you know, and Goldie's learning a lot, Mark Knox learned a lot. We just kept getting so much better. I started to do a little something. Then we had Blowzart and Epic, who used to work with Goldie. Goldie had friends that he worked with, and they was young, and they had never did nothing. So some of the beats were co-produced by them. So it was, again, it's these 4, right? And I'm rapping over co-produced stuff.
DJ Epic, another big producer.
Super producer, right? Blowzart as well. So
Blowzart as well,
yeah. I'm rapping over that, and people on it, people like it, and it's starting to catch a buzz. And I'm really pushing though. I'm doing a lot. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of things that I did in sports. I'm putting a lot of effort in. I'm doing a lot of homework. You know, the fundamental stuff, right? Not the talent and all that. And then luckily people was liking the stuff too. It was talent in it. So we ended up doing that show, and we were trying to get Vague's cousin, my boy National, Kev Nash. We was trying to get him to put some money into our music, and we would give him tapes every time we see him, and he would be like, I'll listen to him. But people couldn't really accept me at first as a rapper because I was so good in sports. They were like, "There's no way this nigga's rapping." You know what I mean? Nigga, what happened to Duncan? What happened to this? What happened to that? Right? So
It's part of the culture.
right, it's part of life, man. We gotta keep evolving, right?
You know what I'm saying? Shit, we could
Gotta
be in the
keep
streets drinking a
transitioning.
40 shooting around. It's just the game.
Right. So, Kev ended up coming to that show,
Okay.
and it was packed. And I never forget, I had these 4 songs, and I'm performing them, and they was right. It was a nice little pack of 4 that I created for my new batch. What I used to do is go get the the little press-on kits where you can put the labels on the front, and I was giving them to people. So when I used to give them to people, I try to make it a little more sophisticated so they can read what it was and all that. So I had a nice little 4 songs. It was some nice stuff. Cause again, my shit was kind of predicated, like most music, off the production, right? So you can have a real good rapper, but if he got low production and low quality recording and mixing, then the song gonna sound low quality. But if you got a good rapper and he got good production, he got some good mixing and some good, recording, then it's gonna sound like a quality song. So as they were getting better, I was getting better, and this little batch was sounding like a lot like what I ended up sounding like. It was like the pre-stuff to what I actually ended up sounding like, the sound that we had. So I performed the songs. I never forget, I look in the crowd and the bros is going crazy, and I look over and I see Kev's big smile, and he's looking at a girl going crazy. I'm looking at another girl going crazy, and we get off the stage, and he pulled me to the side and he said, "Hey, I'm opening a shop downtown on K Street," which we already knew. He was just like, "Come to the shop tomorrow. Let's do this music."
Talking about clothing store.
Talking about coast to coast clothing. Yeah. So we spent another year. We went down there, basically, we chopped it up. He said, "I'm ready to do this, blah, 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 blah." He spent about 4 months, 2 to 4 months from that time, filling out the rest of the store, building the walls and the little counters and all that kind of stuff. By the time the store was open, I was recording on my album.
Okay. With Kev or?
With Kev.
Okay.
And he was like, that nigga did me like Def Jam. That nigga was like, "Here goes some money for your pocket." Nigga, here goes some, here goes some money for your pocket. Here goes some money for this. Here goes some money for that. Come to the store, grab some clothes, right? Come to the back, grab some shoes. Let's get your size. Let's get this. Let's get that. And then write me a list of who you want to produce and who you want features. And I told him production, Goldfingers, Mark Knox. And they did the whole thing. Okay. And Epic came in, it was the usual guys that I was just dealing with, that sound that I told you. And then I just wrote that list and started off with E-40, Mac Dre, Yuck Mouth, Keak Sneak, you know what I mean? And it just came. And that was like my first 4. And then I ended up getting a couple other people that I didn't anticipate getting. Like FedEx and Ryder and Miss Toy, things like that. Harm from the Rich, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And the Ghetto Stars.
Oh yeah, that was a big cast right there, especially men right there. A lot of Bay Area legends right there.
Right. It was legendary for a real first album. Now that was Skeleton Key with some hand-to-hand underground shit that we pressed up like 300 copies. And then we wanted to see what it ended up doing, and we was happy we didn't press up more when we found out it was kind of not the best representation of me at the time.
So what's the name of this project?
The Change the Game project was like about 250,000 budget. We put up a lot of cash the first one, even though we spent a lot on recording, we probably spent about $17,000 because we didn't do no promo.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that was just off recording and recording it the wrong way on those 2-inch reels, but or a really expensive way. But yeah, so we had about $250,000 budget or something on the first joint, and had a van, my face on it, album cover.
Oh, yeah. I remember you
wrapped
dipping
around
with
it
that,
with the spinner rims.
I remember you dipping through the city.
Man,
For real.
the spinning rims was important back then. You know, everybody had to have them on their cars, and we put them on a promo van. So niggas was like, "Oh, these niggas are stunting." That's like hooping in some new Jordans or something. You know what I mean?
For real.
Like,
That's dope. So let us know about this project, man. I mean, what's the singles like? You know, what you do with it? You know, some videos, like the whole. You know, give us the rundown. You know, shows, all of that.
we didn't do one video.
We didn't do one video.
Not one video. Wasn't no. The videos back then, it wasn't that accessible.
Yeah.
If you had 40,000 to do the video, right? But if you didn't have 40, 50,000, actually it's like more like 100 and 200,000. It was hitting crazy. So we did hell up the street promo, and then because we had the store, we had to go to magic shows and different conventions, and because Kev is who he is, he threw different events, so we was just everywhere. Vegas, LA, that project, performing, promo tours, doing promo, performing, appearances, hand-to-hand guerrilla, putting up posters. Like, we just went from Seattle to LA.
So let us know about some singles on there. And the singles was a popular song.
Probably the Bueno shit featuring Tom Malone. That's another thing, is like Tom Malone came up with us. Legendary singer, raw as hell. Done a lot of stuff for a lot of people. Bueno shit was one of the memorable songs, but that album was like loaded. Like, to tell you the truth, West Up with E-40.
West up. Bueno. E-40.
What's happening,
When we enter the club, we got. Pay attention, don't mention the time. Get the trip in your best to get. Me and Bueno, we focus for sure. When we enter the club, we got. Pay attention, don't mention the time. Get the trip in your best to get. Me and Bueno, we focus for sure. West Coast in me. West Coast. West Coast in me. West Coast. West Coast in me. West Coast. I don't know why I got that West Coast in me. West Coast. West Coast in me. West Coast. West Coast in me. West Coast. I don't know why I got that West Coast in me. West Coast. West Coast is Bueno for sure. Pay attention when we mention the toe. CTS, Cadillac, the system in the flow. LA, mono right, big O, dip through the skull. Expedition XLT sitting on chrome. Hit the club, 4 a.m. Back to the Sheraton. On J Street, it really ain't nothing to me. Cali life, old schools with rally stripes. Cut dog, stains, Malibu swing. Top down, all through the town, candy paint. Yeah, I'm on the things, boy, we on the things like what? Into the club, all iced up like no YZ to the VIP. We state to state and every hood mommy's on us. It's just something about California. When we enter the club, we got. Pay attention, don't mention the time. Get the trip in your best to get. Me and Bueno, we focus for sure. When we enter the club, we got. Pay attention, don't mention the time. Get the trip in your best to get. Me and Bueno, we focus for sure.
Real respect the song. I had a song called, I believe, The Hustle with Yuck Mouth. That was like, and I'm kind of giving you the play-by-play from what I would get in the streets, what people would come up to me about. It was song, but probably one of the bigger songs as well was the Mac Dre song, Say You Wanna, with Horn and Goldfinger on it. So I had records, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. I had shit. I had shit on there. I think back, I'm like, first album, boy, I got some stuff that I just wrote because I'm working on new stuff. And I said, $250,000 on the first album. I was a quarter M on the first album. I was him on the first album. You know what I mean? Spinning rims on the first album. You know what I mean? Like, you don't come out like that. You know what I mean? I met like a lot of my peers, close peers and comrades in the music game. I met them then, like Fab, Mr. Fab. Even though Fab's first cousins, I grew up with them since I was real little. Like, and they're like, they thick as thieves. They like brothers. You feel me? I've known Fab like prior to, but I didn't know him nothing like I met him in 2003 when Change the Game came out. You know what I mean? Because he was coming out with his project. I think it was Nig Latin, if I remember. And when that Nig Latin came out and Change the Game came out, we was two dudes in Northern California that was both looked at in Showcase magazine. Rest in peace to Frank Herrera. But Showcase magazine was legendary. So they put us in there, people looking at us, and instead of funking and beefing and competing, we linked up. And then, ended up finding out I knew his cousins. You know what I mean? We grew up with his cousins. I remembered him from when I used to deal with him when he was younger. Stuff like that. Yeah, shout out to JDK, Nooch, and Root. You know what I mean? 3 legendary dudes from my neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Dope. Okay, so you're doing that project, man. You and Kev, man, out there dipping and making moves and stuff. Where does everything start going from there? You start contemplating on a new project, or any stories you can kind of tell us about that time during that Change the Game project? Any stories you'd like to share with us?
Man, it's a lot of stories. I'll tell you a quick story about when we recorded that album. Around that time, because I paid everybody, my whole career I always paid everybody, right? From the photographers to the engineers to features, I paid them. People be like, oh, you a knock, because you paying another man to do a verse on your project.
That's business.
Knock. It's business. And Jacka, we used to always talk about it, rest in peace, Jack.
Work. Cop some and flip it.
Jack said, you know why we want to pay people, Bueno? I said, why, Jack? He said, cause we want them to pay us. It was simple. It's business, right? So, and that's how I looked at it, cause I damn sure want mines when I'm supposed to, right? And I always got it. That's one thing about that music, that rap music. I made a lot of money, and I still make a lot of money. But it's like, man, just off of them words, boy, that's God's, again, a blessing from God. So, me and Kev ripping and running around. I'll tell you a cold story. Mac Dre basically, when I did the album, I paid for the features. I paid E-40. I paid Yuck Mouth. I paid Jackie. I mean, not Jackie. He wasn't on the project. He was on a later project. I paid Mac Dre, right? Obviously, the pay scale was different levels, and it dictated on who like the hottest in the streets. At the time in 2003, I paid Mac Dre less than I paid them, because that's what he was asking for. Because his demand was less than Yuck Mouth and less than E-40s. They lost his, after the project's about to come out, we getting all the songs mixed. They hit me from a studio, shout out to Hitworks, and it was Hitworks Studios. Okay. Shout out to Kendrick and Didge. They hit me and said that they lost this boy's vocals.
Oh, damn.
Right, they lost Mac Dre vocals. Man, it was, and mind you, y'all thinking of the Mac Dre now, this was when,
right before all of it.
Yeah, right before the explosion. He always been hot, he always been big, he always been well known, he always been cracking. But in 2004, I believe it was an explosion that happened. This boy was like when Michael Jordan went to the NBA, when Allen Iverson got the cornrows. You feel me? It was an explosion. You know what I mean? And he said it. You know, to me, many a times, like he basically told me he figured out the recipe. You know what I mean? He shared it with me too, but that's a whole nother story. So, they lost his vocals recording that project, and I literally looked them in the face and just like a young, inexperienced dude, I was like, so what y'all telling? Like, what do that mean? You know, what y'all mean? And they were like, he got to come back, and I'm like, I ain't got no more budget left. They took care of it.
Oh, okay.
They took care of it like the professionals hit works was. And before I know, Mac Dre calling me, asking me where I'm at, because I need to come to the studio to listen to those vocals that he relayed.
Oh, damn.
That's just one story.
Oh, that's dope.
From that time.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
That was my dog.
Yeah, he was a real cat though. He used to be. I remember he used to be down there that time during the store and all that. I was down there.
Yeah, he came. You know what we would do is we would because we do a lot of events and we sponsored a lot of events. So because downtown was popping, Sacramento was popping at that time. Mac Dre living there, Keak the Sneak out here, Messy Marv out here, and all of them legendary dudes. And they're active, so it was like thriving. And then all of the Sacramento artists that was thriving at that time. Seaborn Brother Lynch had came to a time in their career where it wasn't how it had been before. The game started switching. They was going through their own life situations, and it was like an opening. There wasn't a lot of Sacramento music, you know what I mean? It was about 50 artists or 30 artists or something, you know what I mean? And only so many was really kind of consistent. So as I hopped in and we hopped in, we went hard and we invited the Mac Dre's and the Keak the Sneaks and the dudes who were like the main mega dudes, these mega dons in the region. They were so popping, they could fill up a nightclub individually. So we just made sure, you know, we stayed in connection with the dudes who was moving, and then continued to move ourselves. You know what I mean?
Real talk. So what starts going on from all of that? You doing all of that? You start thinking about putting another project together, or?
Yeah. Well, quite honestly, what happened? Tell you the truth, the whole camp was hot because we didn't make $10 million.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? We made a splash. We tore shit up. We got on the map. But niggas was like, where the money? And we was like, nah, that was like the first one. The first one you don't make no money. Nobody. Them niggas like, oh yeah, all I had was one in me. You feel me? Niggas come from the streets. So that 30 dudes that I told you about, them niggas like, nigga, I don't do shit for free. I don't hang out for free. We just ain't got time. None of them ever made money like that. So that was new to them, to not make money like that. You know what I mean? So they was like, they went back to they comfort zones. And I was stuck with about, I was stuck with a small core of guys, and then that started to break down because creative differences. You know, everybody just kind of wanted to start doing their own thing, right? So it was me and Cream, and Kev, along with some of the others, had different creative ideas than everybody, than some of the other people. So again, it was like me and Cream, you know what I mean? And I had a bunch of music recorded because I never stopped recording music. So what I would do is record music, put out a project. The day I'm putting out a project, because again, putting out a project take about 4 months to put it together. I'm recording music already, still. I'm still going to the studio recording music. Okay. Still recording music. So when this project that we just put out starts to die out in these 4 or 6 months, or 4 months or whatever, I already got a bunch, and I just got a bunch of music that I had recorded, and I start to go directions, start to narrow them down, start to make it a body of work, start to come with a name, start to come with a direction, art direction, and then this is the next project.
What's the name of the next project?
The Sacramento Bee.
Sacramento Bee.
But before I did that, I took a 4-year break. From 2003 to 2007, I pushed Change the Game, and then I started to do mixtapes. I bumped into a DJ. His name was DJ Mighty Mike.
Okay.
And at that time, I didn't have $250,000 each project. So I said, mixtapes sound much more feasible. And he showed me the way.
Okay.
And they became like a main, right around that time, they became some of the hottest things in the industry was mixtapes. Because people didn't have that money, and the game was transitioning to where it was becoming more sufficient, less cost efficient.
Oh, yeah.
Or more cost efficient. It was becoming to a point where we didn't have to spend as much money. The average rapper could record for a much lower rate and promote and market his projects for cheap.
Because you rapping on other people's beats, right? Already.
Or
you was doing.
That's
both
what we
original
started off
and,
doing. By the time we were done doing that 3 years of mixtapes, right? Like 2.5 years of mixtapes. What, 3 years? Like 2.5 years of mixtapes. Because we pushed Change the Game from about 2003 to 2005, and then we pushed the mixtapes from about 2005 to 2007.
Okay.
And by 2000,
what's some of the name of the mixtapes?
Mixtapes was, the first mixtape was Bueno Freestyles. I just freestyled over people's beats. I had to keep my buzz out there from Change the Game. People loved it. Then the second one was I Love This Game. And that's where I kind of started getting my groove. I put Come Fly With Me, Michael Jordan intro at the beginning.
Okay.
And I made it like I love this game, right? That's the NBA's logo, but kind of correlated it with the game, the streets, rapping over other people's beats. But I also had a few original songs on there because I kept recording.
Oh yeah.
So they loved it even more because again, mixtapes were becoming popular, and I was one of the few in Sacramento with some quality mixtapes.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? And they was, like I said, some quality. So as that got popping, me and Cream said, let's do it ourselves. The costs that came down from everything. People had studios in their houses now and things of that nature. I got with Amina.
Okay.
This is when he first started. He was on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
And again, that's Goldie's plug. Goldie said he wanted to kind of go his own way and do some of his own things, but he left me 15 beats.
That's cool.
And that plug with that studio. And a mixing plug by the name of Teak and D, Hallway Productions in Stockton.
Oh wow.
Legendary dudes. And I said, thank you, cousin, and good luck on what you're doing, and I'm here whenever you need me. And I went in as hard as I could because I didn't have my little cousin no more. And I was like, I'm on my own, I gotta he taught me everything about music pretty much, right? And he's younger than me, and he was learning on the fly too, but he's a student of it. You gotta remember, I was like a student of sports, so I took everything he would share with me as far as quality, sound. Like it gotta be quality, it gotta be sound, it gotta be structured, right? And he didn't tell me how to do it. He just educated me on how it's done. And then I had to do it all myself, right? So I went hard on Sacramento Bee, and most people say that's my best album.
Yeah. Hey, you are now listening to the Sacramento Bee, man. And I niggas talk about. Here in the physical, you can get your money out. Nothing else matters, I'm the only nigga coming out. Another album drop, that's another couple 100,000 carats on my wrist. Yeah, I'm on like shit. Take dead and some niggas kill Andre hits. Not a 10 on the kit, that's 5%.
Okay. So who's some of the producers on that?
Goldie produced the whole album.
Okay. Oh, nice. So
Pretty much.
okay.
Yeah. And what he did, what happened is he left me 15 beats. Let me take that back. He maybe produced 10 of the 15 songs. So I think I had a Jason beat on there.
Jason.
Okay. Now
Jason,
this is when Jason, the photographer, the director, was making. He wasn't a director. He just was a producer. Now he may have been a director in his life, but he was just a producer.
Yeah, engineering too a little bit.
Yeah. Engineering, and I don't want to say just. Right? Yeah. But he was. This is before the hellified directing legacy that he's created. That's my guy. That's my guy. And I got stories about that too, because I'm involved in the directing shit that he started. I was like the third video he shot. You know what I mean? But yeah. So Goldie, Jason,
who's featured on
Epic, of course, beats.
Epic.
I probably had an Epic beat on every not every album, but large percentage of my featured on there. I had featured. I gotta think back. Okay, I did the West Up remix. Okay. Because I just had West Up on a project before, and it had a good response. So I had E-40's vocal still. He was on the chorus, so he stayed on the remix. And then I changed the beat, obviously, and I added Mr. Fab, who I had mentioned earlier, one of my peers that was like an up-and-coming star, and we kind of, like I said, we started at the same time. So I added Mr. Fab, I added Keak the Sneak, I added San Quinn.
Okay.
So it was like an all-star lineup, and it did real well.
What's some of the songs on
it? Was produced by G1.
Oh, G1, okay.
G1 helped produce that actually, let me take that back. That was produced by Goldfingers and Epic. It was recorded at G1's.
Okay.
Right? And it was mixed by
Or out in LA or?
Yeah, out in LA. It was mixed by Hallway Productions. Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so I had
hands on there.
Yeah. I had like them on there. They led the charge on Goldie Go from the Federation on the record, and a few other people on some records.
So what are you doing?
I had Yuck Mouth on the record, I believe, and then I had Jack on the record.
Yeah, it's that boy Bueno.
The Jack, nigga.
Hey, what's up, man? Shout out to PK,
I told you I'm the greatest of all.
Hey, yo, my nigga Mitch hit me on the cell from the cell. This nigga ain't never coming home, he got an L. Shit's real, nigga is so ill. I'm thinking in the seats in the B12. All I need is some dough in my gun. Real drug dealer dream, I live my life on the run. Yeah, we out in Sac, yes, me and the Jack. Yes, 2 TVs, knowledge P in the back.
Sometimes it get dark, my senses is sharp. Into it with my brother, empty clip in the car. Unloaded on a nigga who forgot who we are. Helicopter lights, high speed from the law. Flashbacks, final life, finally free somehow. Trying to hit June, I hope I make a lot proud. The nighttime be calling me, I hope I stay out. The jailhouse better save some money to bail out. Really not a rapper, just a nigga with real.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you had a cast.
Yeah, I had nice. And by that time, because we did so well in 2003, 2007, I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of respect, you know what I mean? So it wasn't hard at all. And the unique thing about that project, I think that's the one where I stopped paying for features and did more of a bartering, right? Okay. So it was like, now, when you need me, you got me. You know what I mean?
So what's going on with that project? What are you doing now? You doing shows? Yeah, you starting to do videos now? Like what's going on with that?
We run around doing shows, and I did my first video with that one.
What was the name of that one?
The Return.
Okay.
That returned. It was the Phil Collins "In the Heat of the Night" beat, epic remake.
Okay.
And it was pretty smacking. The video was low budget because again, videos were they weren't accessible yet, but they were starting to be needed. But we still didn't know how to do them yet because previously they were so expensive.
Yeah.
It wasn't technology for them yet at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. Did a bunch of shows. Got around.
And what year is this? You said?
And this is 2007, 2008.
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Oh, dope. So you're kind of doing the same. So where does everything start going from there?
After there, I just project after project.
Kind of break that down.
I skipped a couple things too, because
Okay,
it's a lot. You gotta think I put out 20 projects.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Right. From mixtapes. So right after the Change the Game, I believe I may be off a little bit. I mean, not Change the Game, but right after Sacramento B, I did another mixtape.
Okay.
Guns and Butter. And that was with Yuck Mouth hosting. So I had an idea that I was gonna get my peers who was big. So I ended up getting Goldie Gold, I ended up getting Yuck Mouth, I ended up getting Mr. Fab. And I did a series mixtape, 3 mixtapes, to where they all hosted them.
Okay.
So the first one I did was with Yuck, Guns and Butter, and he hosted it. And then the second, and he would do drops throughout the mixtape.
That's the one by Chainsaw?
And that was a DJ. A DJ would be involved with each one of them. So yeah, that was DJ Chainsaw did that one. Then shouts out to Chainsaw. Then
Yes, sir.
then when we, and that's Mark Knox's uncle. Chainsaw knew me before I was born. That's my brother's friend. So it's just all a family thing. And he was the original Noise. He started off with us, you know what I mean? That group of 30 dudes. So then after that we did did a mixtape with Goldie Gold, he hosted it. And then after that I did Back to the Future with Mr. Fab, and that was like old songs, brought to the present.
Okay.
And then it was on to another album after that.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
What was the name of this new project?
The new project ended up being Maloof Money. I thought it was gonna be an album. This is 2009. 2000. Well, let's take it back. This is about 2000. Put it like this. It's like 2007. So I'm doing a lot. Or 2008. I'm doing a lot of stuff now. So Maloof Money comes, and I'm thinking it's gonna be an album, but it ends up being more of a series again. We did 1, 2, and 3, but off the first song, I ended up with this hit record, and that's when my career kind of changed. 'Cause I was already going smooth. It's called 6 a.m. But 6 a.m. is unique because Bruno Mars is featured on it.
Okay.
And Bruno Mars is featured on it the year before his career explodes. So I really don't reap any of the benefits from his notoriety.
How'd you link in with that?
I linked in with Bruno because the stereotypes. Grammy award winning producers, 2 of the 3, I believe it's 3, excuse me if it's not, but 2 of the 3 are from Sacramento.
Okay.
And one of them went to high school with me and played sports on the younger teams when I was playing sports. So he know me for different reasons and different things, right? And we got a great relationship, great bond, and we always did little stuff as they were interning in Los Angeles for different record labels and on the come up and stuff like that. And they connected me. I did the song, put it on the Maloof Money project. It was dope. Radio wanted it. Gave it to the radio. Radio said, Shorty said, I'm gonna be playing it on Monday.
What station is this?
103.5.
The Bomb?
Yeah. And they started playing it and never stopped. You know what I mean? Was playing for about a year, about 7 times a day.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it was crazy. Broke all kind of records. No independent hip hop record locally ever did.
Sacramento.
Nothing like that. Sacramento music, mine.
That's
people.
true. A lot of Sacramento hip hop artists really haven't had steady song on the radio.
Yeah,
Which is crazy.
Everywhere I went, people would tell me I don't make typical Sacramento music, and I would say, "What you mean? You know, what you talk to me?" And they would say, typical Sacramento music in the past was dark. The radio is light,
Yeah, that's right.
so it just don't match. Now me, I got a light personality. You know what I mean? Especially the side that I project in music and publicly. You know, all the dark shit is more personal, right? My own stuff that I deal with, right? But the radio connected with it, and I was doing stuff prior to, you know, with the radio, doing drops. Shouts out Jacine. But I used to do radio drops and things like that. And I ended up, like I said, making some music that catered to the right crowd, audience. So that record went. I met with Shorty and gave him 2 different records. A song called "Check This Out" and 6 a.m. And he was like, I wanted "Check This Out." Cream wanted 6 a.m. Both of them amazing. Both of them did well. 6 a.m. did amazingly well. So,
Yeah, that was a knock.
yeah, so we put that on Maloof Money. And as we did that, it created momentum to where we were propelled into a deal with SMC Recordings and Fontana Distribution, which is a subsidiary of Universal. So we had like our first real deal. And they wanted that record. I made 12, 13 more. And we had a project, and that was Can't Knock the Hustle.
Okay. That's the next project?
That was my third. That was my third studio project, and like my 8th project overall,
That's
counting
the
the
project that
mixtapes.
6 in the morning is on?
That's the project.
Okay.
6 a.m.
Oh, 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's the chorus, right? 6 in the morning, so that's what people call it. You know what I mean? So it ended up going on Maloof Money 1, as well as Change the Game.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Can't Knock the Hustle.
Okay, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Both
yeah,
projects?
yeah.
Same version?
Same version.
Okay.
Because Maloof Money 1 turned into a mixtape.
Okay.
It turned into like a street album, as they started to call it.
Yeah.
It was original music, but it was just a dessert for the just an appetizer for the main course, which was the album that was coming out. Yeah, so that's what we did with that, and we used 1 or 2 songs from there, which are typically the singles, right? The songs that people hear on the radio that represent the album. Put them on the Maloof Money and street album, and then we put them on the actual studio album.
Okay. That's dope. So now you got this big single going and stuff like that. You got this new project. What's going on? You kind of still what? You doing shows? You
Yeah, they
doing
had
videos.
They had me go crazy. So, I did a $10,000 video. Right.
Okay.
That went to MTV.
To what song?
6 a.m.
To 6 a.m. Okay.
But Bruno Mars couldn't get in it. Right. So what happened is, we put the song out in 2009. We had it for a whole year, going crazy, going around the country. It's on radio. I'm doing promo. It's the biggest I ever been in my career, right? And then the next year we get the deal for the project.
Okay.
Because we were running around with it on the radio and all that from Maloof money, and we was getting all the money. Then I get a deal from all of that, right? So I get the deal, and now I'm doing Can't Knock the Hustle album with Universal, Fontana Distribution, SMC Records, and they want 6 a.m. on it.
Oh.
So they want to take it even further. So now they taking it to South by Southwest. It's everywhere. It's all through LA, Southern California, all the big DJs. I'm dealing with, the DJ Fingaz. I'm dealing with the I can't even remember their name at this point. I wish Cream was right here. Just some of the hottest DJs of that era that they're not here like that no more. Now, I don't want to say, they didn't pop or nothing, but it was just, they not here no more. And they were some of the hottest, right? Southern California DJs. But my whole point is that the record was everywhere, to the point where I got the deal, put it on that, and now they put money behind me, video, MTV Jams, Much Music Canada. Much Music is like, it's the MTV of Canada, right? Where they got all the little shows and all that and blah, blah, blah. I'm on there. I'm doing drops for Canada. I'm doing drops for different countries. I'm going to different states. I'm in every showcase, because I got Universal behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So they put me in major showcases. So now I'm traveling. I'm in Vegas doing showcases with Nipsey Hussle, right? We're all in the same showcases. Everybody's signed to a deal. So I'm running around getting my record deal experience.
That's dope.
And it was like the worst. Even though it was a good experience, it was the worst out of all my experiences. Like, that's the only project I never got paid for.
Oh, wow.
Never got a dime. It just tied up into too much label
dealing
stuff.
with the label, yeah.
Right?
And all the money they put out, for those who know about all that, how that works.
Right. It just tied up into too much
But it
stuff.
was a
And
good
then it's
experience,
still,
and it helped kind of boost your name out there.
right, yeah, it's good. It's good with putting your name out there and to be able to use their resources, because they got access to all these different events and things like that, major platforms, right? And that's what we used it for.
Dope.
You know what I mean?
So what goes on from there?
After that, it was back to independent. I didn't want to not make no money, right?
Mm-hmm.
After I just sold more than I ever sold, right? So I was like, shit ain't adding up. And after that, I'm gonna be real with you. I did so many projects, bro. It getting a little crazy, and that shit just ain't in my mind right here. Like, if we have little notes or something.
So you got
but I believe,
dropping a heck of singles and videos and all that type of stuff.
So at that time, what I did, if I remember correctly, is 2009, 2010-ish, is that Can't Knock the Hustle. My nephew passed away, 2012-ish, got killed. I was kind of threw off, right? So, but I'm still a big rapper, career, people calling, right? I do a project, if I remember correctly, I did Dear Summer.
It's called Dear Summer?
Dear Summer. Now, if you know the concept behind Dear Summer, that's Jay-Z saying, the summer for the black culture and for music is popping. And Jay-Z was saying, like Dear Summer as if she's a female. Like, you know you mine. Like, you know I run the summer, right? And what he would do is he would drop these singles, like most people do, right before the summer. You're smart, you got that type of music, and you'll run the whole summer. You'll be in every pool party. You'll be in every, your music will be played in every pool party, every picnic. Your music will be played at all the house parties. You'll be performing at all the summer events, right? And you'll literally, you'll be playing on all the streets in the drop top cars, right? In all the cities, in all the hoods, because that's an important time in the year. So I just made the concept because I had did so well in the city since 2003 and it was 2012. I said, like, the summer's mine in this city. Because I had it to where I played at so many barbecues in the summer. I did all the events in the city. In the summer, I was on all the streets in the cars. Like, we riding my music just, and I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? I was popular first before I made money. Like, that was the part of the experience and the learning, is that you're gonna be more well known first before you even make the money. I thought, as they know me, I make money. It don't work like that. You're gonna be very well known, and the money still ain't even caught up yet. The money got to catch up. You know what I mean? So, but I had went through it so much. I said, let me talk about it. So I decided to name a project about it. And once again, Epic came with the Dear Summer sample, and I used it on the intro. Oh. And that was when videos quality went up and the price went down even more. And I shot the most probably videos I ever shot off a project on that.
Who was shooting some of these videos for you?
That's when Jay Sim did like 5. And one of the first ones was with Yuck Mouth.
Going broke, nigga. I'm out here moving this dope. Shoveling snow, salt for the dope, nigga. Fuck going broke, nigga. I'm out here moving this dope.
Bueno, what up, boy?
Snow, salt that I know.
Yuck mouth, fuck a half a brick, nigga. You gotta buy double. Full-time trap star, rapping is my side hustle. With the minor Russell bubble and make Def Jam.
And he, I introduced him to Yuck Mouth, and then Yuck Mouth asked me. And that was like Jason's 3rd or 4th video. Yuck Mouth asked me, man, if it's all right with you, Blaine, can I keep you with me? I said, do your thing, man. He's like, I got some money I think he gonna like. You know what I mean? Because again, the video quality had just went up and the price just went down. And that dude started going crazy. He was nice, and it showed. So. But yeah, that's what we did around that time, and the Dear Summer project, it did well, and like I said, I just kept going.
That's dope. Yeah. So what starts going on from there?
Yeah. So after the Dear Summer project, if I remember correctly, I did the Maloofs, because I was doing those in between, Maloof Money 1, Maloof Money 2, Maloof Money 3. I did the Maloof Money 3.
Okay.
And then by then I was the Maloof Money 3 that was different from 1 and 2. It was all original. And we started to travel. So I started to, because my reach started to get longer, started to do shows in Seattle a lot more, shows in Portland, shows in Vegas. And then I was hooking up with DJs, and DJ Juice and DJ Mike Smooth from LA, and Juice from the Bay Area. They came together and did Maloof Money 3.
Okay.
And
was
that was
a mixtape, or that was a project?
There was mixtapes, and that I was, again, that particular mixtape was all original music.
So So it's pushed like a project.
So it's pushed like a project. All my shit was kind of pushed like projects still, you know, and shot videos from that, and kept smashing. After that, so I'm kind of like buying time in between projects again. So I did Legends Live Forever Part 1 and Part 2. And on one of those, I did Meadowview song. That was real big. My neighborhood. I remixed the YG, nigga, I'm from Brompton. And then nigga, I'm from Meadowview.
Okay.
And I put like 10 guys on it. And just to stir up, like, you know, not no negativity, but
10
to stir
guys
up.
rapping or just 10 dudes?
10 guys rapping.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 10 leg and, you know, and just a bunch of dudes, right? And that did some stuff. But again, I'm just keeping music out there. Right around then, I was asked to be in a film with, well, I wasn't asked, I kind of reached out to them, Rap Shack, shouts out to Corey B.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I kind of reached out to them and was like, I wanted to be in a, they had a webisode. And I seen it, I came across it and was like, man, what I gotta do to get in the webisode? They were like, oh boy, you know, you're a legend and blah, 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 it's nothing. So I hopped in their webisode and I was fascinated. I loved it. And as I was in the webisode, I'm thinking, man, we gotta do this. I gotta do this. So that's around 2017 or something. It's in the back of my mind. I'm recording singles now. I record a song, In My Zone, with I Am Sue.
On the
Bueno, I am Sue. Yeah. Hey. I'm in my zone. Riding through my city like. I'm in my zone. Riding through my city like you can't see me and I can't see you. Cause these things too dark and my eyes too low. She blows up my phone cause she ready to go. So put your hands up if you feel me right now. Put your hands up if you feel me right now. I'm in a zone like a 2-3, burning ooh-wee. Do you? I'ma do me. Chewy down in my jewelry. Wayne back, nigga, it's a rap. Cool G, YSL, caviar wishes. Jesus Peace, looking like Christmas.
Become real big, get back on the radio, right? I'm running around. I skipped around too because I didn't talk about like a song that was real big called Rollin' that I did on one of the Maloof Money projects. And then we ended up putting it on Dear Summer. Right? And that became real big. That was a big. That was my second biggest record. I went around and toured all of California, all the radio stations with that record because it was so big, and ended up at Power 106 with Valley Fail. Big U called and wanted to buy the record, and we couldn't really decide on the price. So, you know, just picking my spots at that point.
That's dope.
Kids getting older, I was getting older, money getting longer, time getting shorter. So I'm just sitting back thinking like, what I'm gonna do? And it just hit me.
What was the name of the movie?
That's what I was gonna say. It just hit me. Well, the name, the film and stuff I was doing with Corey B was PAX.
Okay.
And that was his webisode. And then it hit me, like I said, about 2018. Let's do a movie. Like, I was thinking, what can I do next? I've done all these projects. I've done all this stuff. What can I do next? And I was like, I always wanted to do an independent film, and my albums can be the soundtrack. So I said, that's what I'll do. I'll do independent films, and my albums will be the soundtrack. And I still didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. my guy from American Cream, Ming, I was buying T-shirts. I seen him at one of the events pop up with a pop up, and I'm like, American Cream, that's dope as fuck. You feel me? So I buy a T-shirt. We stay in touch. He's like, man, you legendary. I'm like, you legendary. There's a skateboard line, a local skateboard line, American Cream, and not skateboard line, but you know, come from that culture, right? And it's real tight knit, real low key, but really prominent, right? And Ming was like, yeah, whenever you need something, just hit me. So I had shows, I would hit him and wear American Cream, and then I was like thinking, that'd be the dopest name for a movie, and I want to do that movie. So that's what we kind of did. We put together. I reached out to him, told him, let's sit down. We put together a little idea where I would come up with a T-shirt. We could sell. We could split some profits. I'll make some money for him, promote for him, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, be able to do my music with the soundtrack and be able to do my film. So that's what I did, and I reached out to Corey B, and I told him I had an idea. He was all for it. I had a close friend, Demond Stone, who's an independent director and filmmaker. Shout out D Stone. And then one of my close buddies, Chief, was like the perfect person to do it with. I sat over about probably 2 blunts in about an hour. I just rambled off an idea to D Stone. He shorthanded, taking notes. Hit me the next day with a bunch of questions. So did the nigga shoot the nigga at first, or did he shoot him? No, he didn't shoot him. And I was thinking, and I just remembered the story. Now, it wasn't my life, it was just a story. And I literally just went like I was like lying to a broad or something. Like, yeah, so me and Nico was over there, and then a car went by. And then before you know it, like, the nigga come down the street with his dog, and then me and Nico out there, and then like I just telling a story, right? So, and then it had to make sense, and then when I was telling a story, I get stuck somewhere in D Stone and say, nah, you can do it like this. Or no, he can get shot right here. Or he can pull out the gun right here, or he can pull the car up right here. And I'm like, so we just filling in the blanks.
Okay.
And then before you know it, we had American Cream, created by Bueno, written by Bueno and D Stone. If he gonna be on point, if he gonna be successful, he gotta do certain shit.
Come on, Coach, we gotta do layups now.
You know the 3 rules. You know how this shit go. On everything, man. You gotta believe in God. You gotta love your family. And you gotta believe in yourself.
Nigga, cause I live and die for mine.
It's a little story. Story about money and greed. See, one thing you gotta understand about the streets is ain't nobody safe. You gotta move right. Stay in your lane. It's rules to this game.
They wanted, but they still don't understand.
See, the thing about Meadowview,
nigga, I show you who
is
I am.
everybody know
I'm the
each
realest
other.
in the bitty. All the
Everybody
mother
grew up
niggas
together.
fans. Crabs in the bucket, I'm
But all
loyal
it
for
takes
the advance.
is some disrespect.
We sick, nigga, I'm saying it's chain of command.
Some niggas hate.
Nigga, we spraying any
And it generally be over money for a bit. Before you know it, another nigga did. All for the love of American Cream.
I make it hard for you niggas, no place to stay.
And now it was time to start filming, going to production. So I just started putting my amateur skills together, picking my locations and the people that I wanted to get in it.
And it was, so you got Corey filming? Is he directing too? Or?
Nah, one director. He just filmed and edited.
Okay. Oh, he filmed and edited, okay.
Filmed and edited. And like I said, I had to pick picked my people, right? And D Stones wrote it with me and then directed it all. Like D Stone was so amazing. He took it and put it in a script. And when he came back with the script, he said, give me 2 weeks. He came back with the script. I was like, nigga, you came up with names.
Oh, wow.
Right? He came up with locations. He came up with lighting. Right? Oh, it's gotta be dark that right here. It gotta be like this right here. Came up with sound ideas, all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
But that was his experience in the directing world, you know what I mean? And the screenwriting world. So he put it in that script for me, and it turned into a film. And we started shooting. My point of view on the editing and recording the soundtrack and doing the sound for the movie.
Okay. Well, that's dope. Any other features for the movie soundtrack songs?
Yeah, rest in peace, Gonzo, right?
Oh, wow.
It's my brother. That was my dog. That dude was crazy as hell. But the small time I spent with him was memorable as hell, man. That dude is dope. So you got Gonzo and Mad Max on the record. So I try to bring the old regime back together because, yep, appointed me in the regime. In about 2018 or something. I skipped a little bit too because I did a project with Gatlin before this, Metric System.
Right before the movie?
Right before the movie, Gat reached out to me. Said, let's rock. It's long overdue. Sound good. A cat had some money for us. It didn't work out how I planned. I ended up putting up, more than I anticipated. And we got it done. I like the project. It's one of my favorites, near and dear to me. That's why I mentioned it. But yeah, I totally forgot about that. So, and then we shot one video, me, Gatlin, Street Knowledge, and Roddy J. Clyde. Yeah. And that was Boatloads. And that was a classic record too.
You've been rocking with Street Knowledge for a while.
Yeah, I skipped a bunch about them, you know what I mean? Having the whole real life crew, Street Knowledge, Kelly Oso, Nemesis, Zoe, and Oso.
Oh, okay.
There was some young dudes that was like my outlaws. And they was on projects from 2000. Oso was on, Oso and Nemesis. Nemesis talked on Change the Game. And Oso rapped on Change the Game. Oso had been there before all of them. The other three kind of came on. Oh, Casino as well, Dollar, right? All these guys they kind of just came organically, one by one, but Oso had been there early, so he made the first project. And then all of them was on the projects from 2007 and some of the mixtapes. They were out on the projects, honestly, from about 2005 to about 2015. They still on my projects, you know what I mean? So they're my guys, but they all ended up doing their own thing. Street Knowledge, probably one of the more noticeable ones. And then Oso as well, and Dollar, and Zoe, locked up. He been down for about 10 years. Free Zio, he'll be home soon. But yeah, that was another, my story is deep, you know what I mean? So it's a lot of components and shit to it, stuff we kind of skipped over. But yeah, they was definitely a part of the journey. Yeah. And yeah, but now to catch back up to speed, the movie did great, soundtrack, song with Yuck Mouth and Smoke Boga. Smoke Boga just signed with Maybach Music. Song with who I got? A song with Dub 20, and Ampachino. And then I got a Meadowview song called 10 with a group of guys from the 10. Rest in peace, Fame, Lil Fame. He on there, but he not with us no more. And I got a song with Gatlin and Cuzzo Fly. This project to me was kind of like I put a lot of regime on it. I got a song with Drew Down on the last project on the metric system, and I wanted to get him on the soundtrack, but I didn't. But I got like a lot of the regime on there, you know what I mean? So, and that ended up being like pretty much where we left off at. Everybody waiting for part 2 of the movie and another soundtrack.
Oh, okay, that's dope. So you get through the whole COVID type of stuff. So we in this building and stuff right now, you know. So like, what's some of the things that you know that you've been doing and got going on now?
Right now, I'm partnered up with a training and workout team, basically. It's called OMG, On My Grind, and we do stuff at the Ball Academy, which is a new facility in South Sacramento, El Grove. So basically, we training kids, running leagues, running camps, doing tournaments. It's real fulfilling, working with the community, working with the youth, giving back. Like I said earlier, you know, I play sports, the relationships I know, the experiences I had, but it's a lucrative business as well, right? It pays a lot, you know, and it's a lot of sponsorships and big companies that want to be involved in communities. So it just goes hand in hand. To be able to help people and be able to give back, but then be able to take care of me and myself, my family as well, that's huge. So that's one thing that I'm doing right now. And then another thing is a cannabis delivery. I'm a partner in a cannabis delivery company called Hidden Treasure. And again, you know, as much as it's recreational, it's medicinal. You know, like it's cancer. We have customers that are cancer patients. You know what I mean? We have customers that are that have skin ailments, and things of that nature. So again, being able to help. I lost family members to cancer, so being able to help is, you know, is second to none, right? And being able to help in my community, because we're in Sacramento, is second to none. But it's lucrative. It makes a lot of money though, too. So to be able to help, and then as like I said, on the flip side, be able to help myself and help my family and take care of us as well. I mean, goodness gracious, man, I'm just blessed. And I'm just happy to be alive. It's a great time to be alive, man. I'm happy to be alive right now, you know, and I'm trying to stay healthy and eat right and do the right things, man, and keep pushing. One of the dope things with Hidden Treasure, man, I was able to hire my son.
Okay.
And I was the first dude I hired, you know what I mean? And he came home from college and was like, Dad, shit, I'd rather work for you than work for somebody else. I was like, nigga, you still gonna have to work. And he like one of our top employees, and everybody loves him, and ain't no favoritism, and ain't no slouching on his side. So, and we got a nice staff, man. We got a hell of a staff at Hidden Treasure, hell of a staff at OMG. So I'm just, between those two, I'm busy, and then I got, you know, 11, 12-year-old, they keep me busy. My 17-year-old, he almost done with school. And then, like I said, my oldest worked for me after college, and I'm just, I'm blessed to be here, man. And hopefully I'll be doing some more music soon and get another movie out with a soundtrack. And
anything brewing in the music right now? gradually putting anything together, or what?
Well, what I'm doing with the cannabis world, I'm infusing the cannabis world with the hip hop world, right? And I mean, I got the background in sports, background in entertainment, and now I'm doing the cannabis, and it's like you can't really infuse it with the youth, right? But there is ways, even with that, just to teach literacy, like cannabis literacy, and financial literacy, right? Because I run a business, I own a business, so taxes, right? Credit, things of that nature, how to save money, but also definitely the entertainment business and cannabis always went hand in hand. So I'm in the process of doing events.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Different things that promote my entertainment side, and entertainment background, along with my cannabis background. And then I'm just building up my companies. Like I said, I'm working every day, taking care of these kids, and then and looking forward to new endeavors.
That's dope. That's dope, man. You got your hands on a lot of stuff, man.
Man, got to, man. Life is short. If COVID showed us anything, man, it showed us life is short, man.
For real. So yeah, that's real. You know, and Bueno, that's one of the reasons why we got you here, man, because you putting your hands on so much stuff throughout the years, through the decades and stuff. And one of the reasons why we have you here is, man, to make sure we give you your props, bro, your flowers, you know what I'm saying, your blessings, you know what I'm saying. And we appreciate, you know, your hard work and your dedication that you did for this Sacramento industry and this music industry in the West Coast, man, for real. So
I appreciate you, man.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. So everybody, man, make sure if you ain't supported before, support now. And if you've been supporting, keep supporting.
Yeah, and I appreciate all y'all support. Everybody and anybody that ever supported, man. And even the ones that ain't supporting me, because it's not just about me. People that's out there supporting each other, you know what I mean? People that's out there supporting their communities, you know, and their family, and just pushing for people to win, you know what I mean? Salute to y'all, man.
Real talk. Man, once again, man, like I said, man, been doing it for decades, man. One of Sacramento's own, man, established artists, man. We is in here, man, with no other than Bueno. Yee!
Salute.
Sacramento, man, 916.
916, man, all day. Shouts out to Nico, man. Keep holding us down.
Bueno.
We ain't taking no L's, all we ever do is win. If I send her, she coming back with them bands. I'm the one that brought the sand to the beach, brought the bands to the streets. I'm the man in the streets, hold up. Bad bitches turn up, broke bitches turn in. Turn in. Look, bad bitches turn up, broke bitches turn in.
What they calling that boy good? I'm really close to the great. Out here getting this cake. These niggas, they really ain't. Niggas, they really fake. Niggas ain't truly trill. Broke nigga kill you. I'm just keeping it real. I ain't seeing the word. She just bringing my ish. I'm just doing my thing. Concentrate on my flips. Some niggas, they say they max. Niggas, they say they pimp. No struggle with no muscle. She dropping it on the strim. Top drop on the rims. Same year that we in. Getting top trying to steer in the same year that we in. Trying to copy my swag. Niggas ain't really him. They be taking them L's. All we ever do is win. All we ever do is win.